Hey guys, this is Victor with CPA. Welcome back. In today's video, guys, I wanted to talk to you about what are some of the conversations that you need to have with your CPA. So it's 5 topics that you should be discussing with your CPA. So if you see the prior videos, we're talking about what are some of the benefits of actually outsourcing your financial needs to an accounting firm or a professional service organization, right? So the way I recommend you to see a CPA is a well of knowledge as an asset to you personally, to your family, and to your business. Like we said before, right? A lot of experience, knowledge, have seen it, have been able to advise clients there, have seen clients make good decisions and not so great decisions. And all these decisions have an impact on both the business and personal lives. So the CPA is an asset to you. It adds value because it helps you. So definitely it's an asset. So topic number 1, financial planning. So let me share with you a conversation that I had recently with clients. Our clients, they are in the financial service industry and also invest in real estate and also have a media business. So they have 3 businesses, a couple, husband and wife, and they have 3 businesses. So it's a lot, right? So they're very busy. And their conversations were like this: well, Victor, we want to know where we are. We not only want to know how our taxes are going to be like, or how our taxes are going to be at the end of the year, but also we want to know how we are doing now. And that allows us to have this conversation. Okay, so let's talk about this. So they own real estate. Perfect. So in real estate, we said, okay, the real estate is going to give you a lot of tax benefits, but also it's going to, now in today's value, in today's market, if you will, prices and values have been going very high, correct? So that means that their equity have been going up. Okay, so that means that if they have equity, they are, wealthier in that regards because their equity have been going higher, right? Interest rates also are lower. So that means that they can refi the properties, right? They can refi the loans, obtain better rates, and basically pull equity out of the deal and either pay themselves back the investments they have made in real estate and or buy more property, right? So that's an aspect that we discussed. They also wanted to know, okay, how profitable are we? Okay, so, and I'm like, okay, sure, we can definitely help you. We'll put together a profit and loss statement, right? Like we discussed in the prior videos. We're gonna put together a balance sheet. We're gonna put together a statement of cash flows. And also we're gonna put together what we call a statement of net worth. And basically a statement of net worth is a personal financial statement, PFS. And there you have basically how you are doing on a financial aspect, right? It's calculating how well you are doing financially. So you have different assets there. You have your cash, you have your IRAs, you have your insurance policies, right? You have the value of your business. You have the value of your real estate. Also, you have all your liabilities. You have your mortgages. You have your credit cards, right? You have your student loans and so forth. And the difference between assets and liabilities is definitely net worth. So we had a conversation, guys, about taxes. We had a conversation about real estate and the equity and what they could do with the equity. But also we had a conversation about their net worth. And what I'm telling you this is, as it relates to point number 1 is, financial planning, financial conversations that you need to have with your CPA, because your CPA can basically help you organize your finances and your business and personal finances in a way that are very easy to understand so you can take action. Now you know, okay, how much investments you can do in the future. You can see how your business is performing. And in this case, how real estate is affecting your net worth and how you can expand your real estate holdings based on the conversation like we had in this case. Point number 2, guys, growth. Okay, so with growth come changes. It's inevitable, right? The needs are going to change when you are growing. right? So if your business is growing, the infrastructure of your business has to also change, right? Your HR needs to change, right? Which is like your human capital, right? Your customer service needs to change, which is your human capital. As you grow, your financial commitments with your human capital are going to change, right? The relationship that you have with your customers is going to change also. So you have to be ready to support the changes that are going to happen there. The product mix, the service mix is going to change. So I was in a conversation with a client of mine. He works for a private equity firm, and he's telling me, Victor, we're ready to sell, right? And basically, it's a merger and acquisition conversation that at some point every business owner is going to have. Am I going to merge my business with another business? Am I going to sell the business to a bigger company? Am I going to basically give my business to family members? What's the legacy that I want to build? How am I going to keep growing? What will be the next act of my business? So these are conversations, guys, that you always want to have with a professional CPA or with a professional service organization. So point number 3, guys, inventory. So let's say that you are in the business of selling items on the internet, or let's say that you have a store, right? And you need to understand how management of inventory actually does work. This is very important, guys, because managing inventory, it's basically a game. Every business is a game, right? But inventory could be a very dicey aspect of any business. So it has to be managed very well. I've seen people managing it very well. I've seen other people not managing it as great. And I've seen some people actually being lucky, and I've seen some people actually hitting the ground on their face because it could be also very difficult, right? So for inventory, you need to have an inventory management system, right? You need to understand which method of accounting you have for your inventory. Is it first in, first out? LIFO? Is it if first in, first out? FIFO? Is it weighted average? Is it a moving average? What is it? Picture this. So let me give you an example. So I met with a client a couple days ago, and my client is a builder. He's a general contractor. I really have to share this with you guys because this is crazy. So he builds homes, right? And he got into a contract. To build this house. And we all know what's been happening to the price of materials, construction materials in the last year. Prices are going through the roof like crazy. And my client is actually upside down $60,000. So the project cost him $60,000 in excess of what he originally agreed on the contract. And he didn't make changes to the contract. He didn't add a clause on the contract that should price materials change, in this case inventory, materials prices change, the bid needs to change accordingly. So he had to eat $60,000. And that is very painful for a small business, because that means that a small business doesn't have the right liquidity. That means that he has to tap into other projects, cover the hole for this project that he's in right now. And the next project that he takes the money from, he has to take the money from another project. And that in the construction industry is very dangerous. And that's why so many construction companies go under, because of management of labor and management of like inventory, management of materials. It could be very dicey. So I told my client, okay, so what happened when you realized that you were upside down? He said, well, Victor, I was under contract and I needed to make sure that I comply. And I'm like, dude, you and I should have had a conversation. You needed to renegotiate the contract. You needed to actually put a stop order and say, okay, we need to change this. Otherwise, I can't perform the job. You need to basically have a conversation with an attorney and your CPA and come into an agreement. I'm not saying that you need to quit the job, but you basically need to renegotiate the current agreement, because otherwise it's just going to be trouble. So now we're just finding ways for him to obtain funding and be able to move forward. But what I'm saying here, guys, is that management of materials and inventory, it's very important. It can be very dicey, and it can be very dangerous if it's not done right. This happens in stores. This happens in the construction industry. This happens in restaurants. It happens in many, many different industries, okay? So it's very important. Point number 4, guys, risk management. You might be saying, okay, so what is risk management? Well, risk management could come in different ways, right? In this case, we're talking about business insurance, right? We're talking about general liability insurance. We're talking about, E&O insurance, which is errors and omissions insurance. We're talking about not only insurance, but how liquid, and how liquid your business is. So you can take change, so you can basically manage changes that may be coming. Let's say, for instance, COVID happened, and, no one foresaw what would be going on. And yes, there's a lot of programs from the government to incentivize the economy. But let's say that was not around, And how ready were you? Well, the people that were ready are the people that are able to pivot, right? Work from home, conduct business over the internet, have video calls, be able to work remotely, being able to serve remotely, right? Be able to deliver food, leverage technology for you to provide services. So that actually, guys, is also risk management, right? Not only financial tools, but how well you can manage the resources and how resourceful you are managing, the resources of your business in order for you to mitigate any risk that may come in the future. So these are some of the important conversations that you want to have with a CPA or the professional service organization that you're working with. Number 5, guys, is definitely tax compliance. And for us, that's very important, right? Because we help our clients navigate the waters of tax compliance, right? That could be payroll tax, that could be sales tax, that could be federal income tax, that could be taxes that are happening on a global basis. But tax compliance is not only the important aspect of the business. What is also important is the tax planning aspect of it. If you really think about it, it is also risk management. Because then what if you have to overpay tax if you're overpaying taxes? If you're overpaying taxes, that means that your liquidity, it's out more than what it needs to be. So your level of risk is actually higher because you have less liquidity, because you have less money in the bank account, call it that way. It's just easier, right? So we help our clients to be compliant with taxes and the tax law, right? We want to make sure that we're following the tax law, but also we want to be able to, maximize the opportunities. And that could come in the forms of deductions, that could come in the form of like credits, that could come in the form of like having different strategies, different entities, right? And that's what we do, comprehensive tax planning and, financial planning for our clients, right? It is very important. So that way you have a better outcome at the end of the year, but not only at the end of the year, but all the time, right? Because you need to have conversations with your CPA, not only during tax time or at the beginning of the year, but you want to make sure that you are having conversations with your CPA at least on a quarterly basis, call it that way, right? That way you know where you've been, where you are, and how is it that your business is going to perform in the next quarter. So that way you have the right, tax planning, the right risk management, the right inventory management, the right business growth strategy, the right financial planning conversations. And that's what we do for our clients, guys. So as always, if you like to have additional conversations with a new CPA, or you like to have conversations with us and see how we can be of an asset to you, please see the description below and contact us. And we'll be more than glad, very happy to actually talk to you and see how we can actually serve you. And as always, guys, we'll see you in the next video.